Hello student, today we are going to do continuation part of history chapter number 3 from threat to territory. We have already discussed in previous class about how British came to India, how they started trade and how they expand their rule and territories, and we already discussed about the reason for conflicts between the Nawab and East India Company that led to the first battle between Nawab and English, which was known as Battle of Plassey. Next, we come to the topic company officials become Nawabs. After the Battle of Plassey, Mir Kazim was made Nawab as promised by Robert Clive. He was known as Puppet Nawab. Now, even the Puppet Nawab was not as helpful as the company wanted to be. He protested, so what did the company do when he protested? The company deposed him and installed Mir Kazim, his son-in-law, in 1760. In the same year, Clive returned from India with massive wealth and he again came in India, and I will tell you why in the later part. Even Mir Kazim complained. In 1764, the company fought Battle of Boxer under the command of Major Hectic Munro against the combined army of Mir Kazim, who was the Nawab of Bengal, then Suza ud Dawla, the Nawab of Awadh, then Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. And it was due to the lack of basic coordination among the three allies led to the defeat of the Battle of Boxer. Then Mir Jafar was reinstalled, so he was made twice the Nawab of Bengal. In 1765, Clive returned back to India as governor of India. The company was fed up with the puppet Nawab system in India. Now they wanted themselves to be the Nawab of India. With no surprise, in 1765, the company was granted Diwani by Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. The Emperor Shah Alam II was forced to grant Diwani of Bengal to the English company. As the Diwan of Bengal, the company got the right to collect taxes on behalf of Emperor from the eastern province. In return, the company paid tribute to the Emperor. Now, this solved the major problem of the company that it had all these years while it was doing trade in India. Once they got Diwani right, the company stopped receiving money from England to buy goods. Many company officials wished to live like Nawab. There were many company officials who returned back to England with massive wealth and live a lavish, flashy life, and they were called themselves Nawabs, which was an Anglicized version of Indian word Nabob. This was how company officials become Nabob. Next, we come to the topic Tipu Sultan, the Tiger of Mysore. So, as company wanted more land and more power, they were looking for more. They were looking for a new area to expand their rule and territory. So they have to expand their territory in the southern part. Here we have one of the important ruler of the southern region of India, and he was none other than Tipu Sultan. Tipu Sultan, who was also known as Tiger of Mysore, was the ruler of the kingdom of Mysore from 1782 to 1799, and he was a scholar, soldier and poet. Tipu was the son of Hyder Ali, and he introduced new development in his kingdom. Tipu promoted a more widespread use of Hindustani language in southern India. Tipu introduced a number of administrative innovations including the introduction of the new coinage, new Maludi lunisolar calendar, and new land revenue system, and initiated the growth of Mysore silk industry. So these were the development made by him in his kingdom. Tipu expanded this one iron case Mysorean rocket which he deployed in his resistance against military advances of the British. So technologically also he was advanced. So here are some other more information about Tipu. Tipu engaged in expansionist attack against his neighbor. As he was powerful, he can protect attack of his kingdom from his neighbor. His treatment of his conqueror, non-Muslim subject and British prisoner of the war is controversial. He remained an implacable enemy of the British East India Company, bringing them into renewed conflict with an attack on British allied Travancore in 1789. In the Third Anglo-Mysore War, Tipu was forced into a humiliating treaty, losing a number of previously conquered territories, including Malabar and Mangalore. So he lost his territory like Malabar and Mangalore as he was defeated by the British. He sent embassies to the foreign states, including the Ottoman Empire, Afghanistan, and France, and in an attempt to rally opposition to the British. In the Fourth Anglo-Mysore War, the combined forces of the British East India Company and the Nizam of Hyderabad defeated Tipu, and he was killed on 4 May 1799 while defending his fort of Sringapatnam. So here we know how powerful was the Tipu Sultan and how he was defeated by the British. Next we come to the English war with Marathas. So here we have English war with Marathas. Marathas was a power that dominated a large portion of southern part of India. So it's a power. Maratha was a power that controlled large part of the Indian subcontinent, and British waged war with them. So let's know in detail about the war of Marathas with British. The company waged a series of war against the Marathas in order to crush Maratha power. The First Anglo-Maratha War began in 1775. In this war, there was no clear victor, hence it ended in 1782 with the Treaty of Salbai. Next, we have the Second Anglo-Maratha War, began in 1803 and ended in 1805. This war was fought on different fronts, resulting in the British gaining Orissa and territories north of the Yamuna River, including Agra and Delhi. So here we find British succeeded Marathas in Second Anglo-Maratha War, and the Third Anglo-Maratha War of 1817 to 1819 crushed Maratha war totally. The Peshwa was removed. The company now had complete control over the territories south of the Vindhyas. So like this, they expand their territories even in the southern part of India after they defeat Marathas. Next, we have the claim to paramountcy. So, who introduced this policy of paramountcy and what did it mean? Let's find out. Lord Hastings, who was the Governor General of India from 1813 to 1823 introduced a new policy of paramountcy. Now the company claimed that its authority was paramount or supreme, hence its power was greater than that of the Indian states. In order to protect its interests, it was justified in annexing or threatening to annex any Indian kingdom. However, this process did not go unchallenged. For example, when the British tried to annex the small state of Kittur in Karnataka today, Rani Channamma took arms and led anti-British resistance movement. He was arrested in 1823 and died in prison in 1829. But his resistance movement did not stop. It was carried on by Rajana, a poor chowkidar of Sangoli in Kittur. With popular support, he destroyed many British camps and important records. He was also caught and hanged by the British in 1830. Next, we have the doctrine of lapse. So, what was this doctrine of lapse? Let's see. Doctrine of lapse was an annexation policy purportedly devised, and Lord Dalhousie introduced this, and he was the Governor General of India for East India Company in India between 1848 and 1856. And according to the doctrine of lapse, a princely state or territory under the direct influence of British or paramountcy, then that territory, if a kingdom or the territory of India, could be annexed very easily with this policy, the doctrine of lapse. How? If the ruler was either manifestly incomplete or died without a direct heir, that means without a son, a king died, then that territory will be annexed automatically to the British territory. This is what the policy says. The letter supplanted the long established right of the Indian sovereign without an heir to choose a successor. So, in addition, the British decided whether the potential ruler were competent enough or not. If they find the ruler is incompetent, then they will annex that region. So the doctrine and its application were widely regarded by Indians as illegitimate. So let's continue with the next policy of British, that is subsidiary alliance. The doctrine of subsidiary alliance was introduced by a British Governor General in India from 1798 to 1805, and in his governorship, Lord Wellesley adopted a policy of non-intervention in the princely states, but he later adopted the policy of forming subsidiary alliances. So, this policy was to play a major role in British expansion. So, the main principle of subsidiary alliance were an Indian ruler entering into a subsidiary alliance with had to accept British forces within its territory and also has to agree with their maintenance, and the ruler would accept a British resident in his state. An Indian ruler who entered into a subsidiary alliance enter into any further alliance with any other power. Now, Wellesley declared war against any power without the permission of the ruler. So the ruler would not deploy any Europeans other than the British. If you're already doing so, they would be dismissed. So in case of conflict, any other state, it would agree the resolution decided upon by the British, and the ruler acknowledged East India Company as the paramount power in India. In return for the ruler accepting its condition, The company undertook protect the state from external dangers and internal disorder. So if the Indian ruler failed to make the payment required by the alliance, then the part of their territory was to be taken away as a penalty. Some were new ideas of administration. British rule in India brought in some way new ideas of administration, but its power rested on its military strength. Naval army. The Mughal army was mightily composed of the trained soldier. Indian